police department and fire department for their response, and also Public Works. As you can imagine, this the last few hours in the city since this happened around 1:30 in the afternoon have been all hands on deck, and we are continuing and expect to be here throughout the night. Right now the status is the building next door, the Manwaring building, which serves as dorms for the Connecticut college students, that has been evacuated. However, we have engineers have deemed it to be structurally safe, so we're thankful for that. They have been temporarily housed in the Holiday Inn, and we expect that they'll be displaced for at least through the weekend. We do not have any other structures that were affected, and right now we are moved. Well, we have a demolition contractor on board, waiting for further engineering confirmation that at least the two steeples that remain will have to be taken down immediately, and a determination on the rest of the building. Obviously, though, as you can see, we're expecting that this building is a total loss.
Any indication what could cause the collapse?
We do not have a determination at this time. The Fire Marshal's office is working with the State Fire Marshal and with the State Building Official and with our building officials. We do have some surveillance video that actually captures the collapse, and it'll be some time before that determination is made.
And what kind of effort is underway to take down this building? I mean, this is a huge structure. You mentioned the two steeples. Will you need outside help to do that?
Yes, absolutely. We have a contractor on site. We expect that they will be mobilizing, which should take probably a good 5 or 6 hours, and we do have plans to have the portions of the building that are deemed to be unsafe demolished.
We're hearing there was a woman in the building at the time when it collapsed. She's also okay?
Yes. The fire department, when they first responded, encountered one individual in the building, which is part of the intelligence that has led us to believe that nobody else is in the building. She was escorted out of the building. She's safe, and she's reported that nobody else was in the building.
And is this structure regularly inspected?
It's inspected for fire purposes. It is not inspected for there isn't any routine building inspection. So we have not had time to determine if there was any recent inspections of the building structurally.
And no indication, no sounds, no creaking, no crumbling, nothing that would lead you to believe that something was wrong with this building?
No, there was no indication by the congregation or by the city that there was anything wrong with this building.
Are you concerned that when you start taking down the building that could cause problems for other nearby buildings?
Nothing that isn't associated with this building. There's a one-story addition, modern addition on the back of the building that was not affected directly by the collapse, but it, we're hoping that the demolition process will not affect that portion of the building.
Were you in your office at the time of the incident? If so, can you talk us through, what you heard, what you saw?
I was at the Rotary Lunch 1 block up the street at Thames Club, so I cannot tell you that.
Can you talk about what searches, if any, are happening right now and what is hampering any potential search of that rubble?
We have the USAR team on site, we have the state police, and we have search dogs. They cannot send the search dogs in until they determine that the pile is stable and those two remaining steeples are not going to fall. We expect to have word on that momentarily. The engineer is on the site, and that may have been determined by now.
So you expect the demolition to take place tonight, throughout the night?
The demolition will start as soon as the demolition company is mobilized.
With a building this old, any concern about asbestos, lead paint, chemicals?
That's why DEP is on site, and I've been advised that the process is it's all considered to be contaminated until proven otherwise. So DEP has set up monitoring stations around the site They have not detected any contamination at this point. That's a risk to the general public. However, they have set up those monitoring sites to make sure that there is no risk, ongoing risk.
Was there any work being done on the steeple or on the church recently?
No. To our knowledge, there's no building permits or any work being done on this structure.
And this is an active church with an active congregation. I guess talk about how lucky it is that this happened not while a sermon was happening.
Oh, you can count the luck involved in this a million ways. The building was empty. There was no services. The building fell in upon itself. It did not fall, for instance, onto State Street, onto the dormitory to the west, or onto City Hall to the east. Assuming that we can confirm that there's been no loss of life, the city was extremely fortunate in the manner of the collapse. It could have been a much bigger disaster for us. However, we did lose a cherished historic structure.
Is it possible this was a gas explosion?
Right now, it's all preliminary, but they do not believe it was anything other than a structural collapse.
We heard that the homeless really relies on this church to get their food. They do meals. Is that still going to continue in light of what happened?
The part of the building is the addition in the back. It's the modern addition, and it is also not going to be usable. But there are other services in this city and other meal centers that will be able to pick up the slack.
Mayor, what's your final message to the city, the residents, and also the faith community tonight?
The final message is that we're fortunate to have great resources that can mobilize quickly when something like this happens. To the congregation that lost their church, we will work with them. We will help them to get relocated. So obviously, nothing will be able to replace the hole now in our skyline, by the loss of this building. But the city is resilient. Don't forget, we were Benedict Donald burnt us to the ground 300 years ago, and we survived that. We've survived much since, and we will rebound from this loss. Any other questions?
Are you releasing that video of the collapse?
I don't have the video. I believe it's part of the investigation, so that would be a question for any of the individuals behind me. This is an amazing team that has been on the job since early this afternoon, assisting, and the city certainly couldn't have done it without all the resources that we have locally and the resources that were sent by the state of Connecticut.
Is the fire department doing the investigation?
Our fire marshal office will be doing the investigation, leading the investigation.
Is there any inspection protocol for buildings that are this old?
I can't answer that question. And I don't believe the building inspector is here at the moment. Now, the building inspector is on the site.
Have you talked to the pastors of either of the churches that are there?
Just briefly, they've been here throughout the afternoon.
Can you tell us how they are reacting and sharing their thoughts with you?
I haven't talked to them that closely. They're obviously in shock.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.